Okay, es ist das passiert, was immer passiert. Das passiert auch bei anderen. Nach einer Stunde schalten wir ab. So, wir sie wieder rein. Christi.
Hey, we're back.
So, okay, no, this is the typical, no, it's a problem. I think in the last, since the quarantine, they made after 1 hour, they cut everything. And normally, I've seen a lot of, discussions on Instagram in the last time, and every 60 minutes we have to stop. Unser Dorfbräu is here. They are from Bayern. Okay. Melita is also here again. Perfect, because Melita also after 1 hour they stop normally. It's normally after 60 minutes they say, okay, we have to. Yes. Cheers, unser Dorfbräu. I will visit you. Also, ich besuche euch sobald wie möglich. Sobald es geht, komme ich euch besuchen. Unser Dorfbräu also were guests when I was the guest of Tusa, and when I got so many beer that I was a little bit drunk. But this is the last. Okay, habe die Ehre, ja, auch habe die Ehre. Danke für den Besuch, unser Dorfbräu. Ich besuche euch sobald wie möglich. Christopher, du kriegst doch was. Mach's auf. Du bekommst doch was. Christopher, his Prost, Melita. Prost, gib alles. Of course. Ja, Christopher, mach auf, trink's, kriegst noch eins. He loves this beer. Christopher, his grandfather had a brewery, and now he brews. He experiments with a lot of craft beer now, and he has really very nice, interesting variations. Also, he made stay strong, healthy, and full of energy. Of course, natürlich, unser Dorfbräu. Wir sehen uns in aller Frische und Stärke. And our beer, Christopher, he also made a variation of the Padawan. He called it Padawat, Padawan from Tirol. Also very nice, very interesting, and he has a sense of humor. Okay, Jesus is also here. Jesus Manuel, a friend of mine. He was a lawyer in Venezuela before he came to Austria. Okay. Now he's an expert in wine and also beer. Now he has some connections to Rieder beer. Okay, but now let's talk about this. I see the yeast is still working, because here the foam is got more in the bottle. But it's perfect under control, because I had so many beers in the last years. They poured out of the bottle and also of the cans. But you really designed it, make it perfect. It's very good. And Christopher from our beer, he fell in love with your Norwegian IPA, your Tyrolean pale ale. He loves it. Yes, he loves it. He loves it. Okay, I have next.
You're just drinking the Norwegian. So.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yes, it's really good. It's really.
They're very lucky.
And where did you? And I think it was just before we were. Okay. Your son is. I think your son is.
Yeah, my son. It's his bedtime. He's obviously got hold of the phone. Yeah.
Okay. Now he gets it. Okay. What is his name?
Benjamin.
Benjamin. Hello, Benjamin. I wish you a good sleep.
Hello, Papa, or hello, Papa.
Yeah.
Hello, Papa.
It's bedtime.
Expecting bedtime, but only for Benjamin, not for you.
No, not for me, but it's definitely for you.
Not for you. Okay. Okay. And I think it was just before the for the break. And the idea of this pale ale, you tasted a beer with this yeast, or how?
No, I decided to experiment. We have little fermenters that we can do small batches.
Okay.
Obviously, we can't do 1,000 liters trial
Yes.
brew of something because we would never get rid of it.
Yeah.
And so we have little 60-liter fermenters, conical fermenters, so exactly the same as our large fermenters, temperature controlled. And so we do just experiment with different things. So if a new hop comes along, we can try it.
Okay. And the
Yeast
yeast
comes along, we can try it.
How did you get to know of the yeast?
I read it on a blog on the internet of a Norwegian guy who really specializes in this and has brought it out into the world, really. And everyone is talking about this yeast, especially a lot of microbrewers and that are talking about it, especially in Australia and places like that where they can't keep the temperature right down. It's ideal for them because they can ferment at 30 degrees and still make a perfect pale ale.
This is a real India pale ale, because for India it was good to brew it in India.
In India, yeah.
For the English
That's
Army.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he talks about how to handle this yeast, because people are used to pitching so much yeast and then the pitching temperature being low and then keeping it at 20 degrees for an ale and things like that. And he says, no, it's got to be pitched at 30 something and it's got to be held at, but to get the flavor out of it, to get that. And he talks about how they actually, the Norwegians actually dried it on sticks. They had a kind of a big stick thing they used to swirl around into the fermenter and hang it up on the wall to dry, and the next batch they take it down and swirl it through the beer again. And it's a really tough yeast. It really survives. It's a farmhouse yeast, and originally the Creek yeasts were mixed with other things as well, 2 or 3 different types of yeast and maybe bacteria as well. So there was lots of different things in there. But nowadays they are the pure culture is just one type of yeast, no bacteria.
Yeah. It's very, yes. Yeah, he's really exhausted. He loves it. Christopher loves it. It's the Quake yeast. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Gerald, do you mind if I ask?
Sorry?
You have been such a strong voice, a champion of new beer styles. You've been a champion of new beer styles. You talk with such love and passion about new beer flavors in Austria and from our neighboring countries. In the last 5 years, what is the most significant change you have seen in this industry of small breweries?
The most significant change was, yes, they start with the ales, the pale ales, the IPA, because the small brewers, especially in Austria and Germany, first they just wanted to make it. The most revolutionary beer was the Zwickel.
Yeah.
This was the one they say, okay, no filter, unfiltered. This was the most revolutionary beer. They didn't experiment. They said that people want their beer, they know. Especially we have, I think the most most interesting change was not in Austria or Germany, because Austria and Germany are slow. They are typical. With Austria and Germany, you have very typical beer countries, and it's different to bring a change there. You find a market, there are beer lovers there and experimental lovers, but you don't find the people who want to experiment in the scene of the beer drinkers, but in the scene of the wine drinkers. And this is the point. Wiener Brut is also here. And this is cans. Cans they are starting cans because Austria is the just say in Austria and Germany you can't not yes we can we no we can't we can't can we can't can it but the interesting thing is that the countries where they have wine, the typical wine countries like Italy, France, Spain, also Slovenia and Croatia, and I see also Greece. They are more interested to experiment with other aromas. They don't want the typical Märzen or lager beer and also the Pils beer and very revolutionary Zwickel beer. They have they experiment with great beers, with sour beers. Last year I talked to Israeli Israelian breweress, can I say breweress? A brewer and a breweress, like a prince and a princess, maybe. And she's from Tel Aviv, and they were in Vienna. And I talked to her about the taste and said, in Israel, they want malty beers. She has a problem with IPAs, with too hoppy beers. She has a problem with, of course, with sour beers. She loves sour beers, but the people there are not. And so you see the same also in Austria, Germany. The people say, okay, they want the typical beer. It's like Biermeter Schwächer Helles. It's a typical lager beer, a little bit better from the taste, but it's a lager beer. The people know it because you can't. It needs time to change people, to change the taste. But normally in Austria and Germany, you have to look not too much at the beer drinker, because the beer drinker drinks normally his beer. You have to look for the wine drinker who wants to experiment, who wants to love it, because it's the same thing. You have the smell, the taste, you look at the color. It's the same thing. What the wine drinker wants from his wine. And the interesting thing is the wine begins a little bit, it gets a little bit, I learned so many wines which are dull, which are boring, and so beer is much more interesting.
Yeah,
I don't hear you, Neil. Come a little bit closer.
Down to the brewery, a lot of the younger Germans are drinking craft beers.
Yes.
The slightly older people are really stuck in their ways. They won't change at all.
Yeah.
But the youngsters they're really keen to experiment, and so they really surprise us. They really do like to seek out a different type of beer. Because they think they find the mothers boring. They just find the normal beer.
Yes, the beer is boring. I don't like the normal beer or the typical industrial beer when I say, okay, I taste some, I don't drink it. I drink 1/3 maximum, because then it's too dull, it's too boring. I don't want it. I prefer water to this beer. And this beer, everything you want to, it's interesting for your sense, but this is what you want. You have to bring to the people. You learn the people that you don't drink beer as like water, like mineral water, like apple juice or something like that. But
But we often say that about wine. You don't drink exactly the same bottle of wine.
Yes.
You might like red wine, but you try lots of different red wines. You don't just drink one red wine.
Yes.
But you find lots of beer drinkers, they will say, I only drink that. And
yes.
I find that really, really strange.
Yes, and this is as I said, the same thing as in Schweich, where Biro has its brewery. Marco told me that 80% of the people from Schweich drink Zipfer beer. It's an Upper Austrian beer. it's metallic. It has not so much taste, and
Even their pale ale doesn't taste of anything.
yes, it's boring, and I don't know why. Why do the
No.
people drink it? Why?
No, I don't know.
It's no, and so the interesting thing is the people normally. So there are so many jokes about Italians, about Spanish people. Say the beer, you can't drink the beer from Spain, you can't drink the beer from Italy.
Or from France.
But now they are so it's so interesting. They began to experiment, to say they are more open-minded.
Yeah, but also
When I get
I
the-
find that especially countries that are renowned for bad beer, say America with Budweiser and things like that, and
Yes.
Italy with their not so good beers, and France with their craft beer scene is really taken off.
Yes.
Because people wanted a really different beer.
Yeah.
They wanted to taste these different types of flavors because they were so fed up with the mass market stuff because it was so bad.
Yeah, and but these people again he's here now. he came back. He came back. This one here, it's let's for him.
The interesting thing is, as Neil would say, do you have spaghetti every dinner time?
No, it's the same.
And so why would you drink the same beer every day?
Yeah.
And if I come to your house, I want to drink the beer that you make, that your neighbor has made.
Yeah.
And the beer industry is good enough at making local beers now that we can enjoy this. And I think that's going to be the biggest change in the next few years. You were absolutely right in saying that Germany and Austria is hard to change its way. But there's nothing wrong with hard work, and it will change gradually.
And I say to every beer drinker, we had a good catastrophe in Austria in the mid of the 80s. We have the wine scandal. There was the problem that so many people from especially Burgenland, Lower Austria, they made yes it will. Aber Bier says. They put glycol in it to make it sweet. Especially they had tourists from Germany. The Germans wanted sweet wine, and this time you had not good wine from Austria. Then there was a wine scandal. A lot of people there went to jail because they say you can't put glycol into wine, and then they began to make perfect wine. But it's still crazy because I've good contacts also to. I don't want to put the name here. It's a Austrian white wine Weinhandler, and I was there, and there was a guest, a client there, who was a platinum member because I think he got points about 300 or 400 euro. He got back from them as a Gutschrift and we talked about wine and beer, and he said no, he had special champagne, special wine, very expensive wine he has in his cellar. And then we talked about beer and said no, he has his beer in his garage, and he wants that the beer tastes like he wants the beer taste. And then he goes to the garage, gets his cold beer, and drink it beer because it's beer. And so the people drink beer. The people drink beer in Austria and also Germany to drink the typical taste they learned. But they don't want to experiment. But the wine, they say, okay, wine could be very interesting. Some people, 70% of Austrians, Germans, all over the world say, okay, we want the wine we know, we want this wine tastes good. Other people want to experiment. They say, okay, we want this wine we don't know. What do you say about this wine? And the wine is very old. It's very expensive because you had to have it in the cellar. But the people look, okay, the this Mindesthaltbarkeitsdatum is the 10th of 2020, and they don't say, okay, the older beer, they change the taste, they change the character, like wine, and you can also taste it. It doesn't taste the if you have exponate beer on a very light area, then the hops would be reduced and dull. But if you have it in a cellar, you can say you can look how the beer it changes. The same thing is because now Verena is also now guest again here. Together with my employees, with Verena and Sandra, we made our own beer 2 years ago. With it was a season IPA with rosemary and sea salt, and it changes every month, and it changes its character. It's very interesting to see how it begins to change. In the beginning, it was very fresh, very rosemary style like. Then afterwards, some months later, the bitterness was more exposure, but
I think
okay, St. Pauli wine. Okay,
one of
good.
the things
2025.
Yeah, I have to be.
As humans, we needed to store and preserve food.
Yes.
We needed to preserve meats. And before refrigeration, we did this by smoking them, by putting fish in salt, and by drying them, and by putting wines in underground cellars to keep them cool,
Yes.
to preserve them. In times when there wasn't any wine to be made the next year, or there was not a good harvest.
Yeah.
And beer is incredibly seasonal. This is why we celebrate Oktoberfest. It's
Yes.
the freshest hops, the freshest beer. And we have the luxury in life now to be enjoying products fresh. Why would I want to put this in my Kühlschrank for 2 years?
Yeah.
I want to enjoy it now because it's made now and it's made fresh with good ingredients.
Yes.
And so this concept of long shelf life is the English name, the long sell-by date.
Yes.
That's not for the good of the beer drinker. That is for the good of the supermarket.
Yes.
Be able to store, to lager a product for a long period of time, which is why small breweries like ours, we can make fresh beer. It's fantastic. 6 weeks later, it's gone.
Yeah.
And that's it. You have to wait another year for it. And that's really the way. We're used to going into a supermarket and buying something the same every day of the year. You can get herbs there every day of the year.
Yeah.
Your bread, when you take it home, stays fresh for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not the right way. And wine is a very different market. It takes a long time to produce a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And yes, flavors do change with time. Beer is the same, but it's a fresh product for now. It's changing the mind of people to realize that it's sold out. You can't get it till next year. You have to wait.
Yeah.
And that's really that should be more valuable
Yeah.
than the difference between a really good bottle of beer and an okay bottle of beer is maybe 15-20 cents.
Yeah.
But the difference between a good bottle of wine and a bad bottle of wine, 30-40 euros maybe.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's the same.
It's a very different market.
Yeah, very different, and they had the possibility to say, okay, this wine could be, if it's good, you can sell it on a very high level. And the same, the Italian wine. I see the Italian beer. You find some Italian beer, special beer with grapes or with fruits inside, sour beers. They have the same price as an expensive wine.
Mm-hmm.
They
But
check.
also every industry, every industry has tricks to its business. You talked about the winemaking industry in the 1980s. The trick was to put the glycol to make it sweet. And you could say that if it's a bad year in wine because the grapes, there weren't good quality grapes, or there was a frost that destroyed the harvest, then they make that a vintage year,
Yeah.
because there's less product, so the price
Yeah.
is higher. And everything is to the individual. I read reviews of our beer, and somebody that will put a 1-star next to somebody that has the same beer that puts a 5-star tells you that that person isn't wrong and that person isn't right. It's just individual taste. It's
Yeah.
what you like. I
Yeah.
really like this. And so we now have a chance to drink beers from so many great places in Austria with different stories and different flavors. And you have the freedom to choose and not be with Heineken
Yes.
alone.
You don't have to go with the Heineken in bed. And this is the thing. I'm driven by this idea that the people can drink all over Austria the beer they want. They want to try to be regional, and what you can do, what you can bring the people the interest, bring the people, make the people jealous for beer, make the people curious for beer.
Mm-hmm.
Taste it on the ways. It's a beer. It's not apple juice or a water or something like that. It's water and apple juice are great and have a great taste, but enjoy the beer and taste it in the other way. Make a little bit of philosophy about the beer, story about the beer.
Austria is an incredible trading nation.
Yes.
It borders some wonderful countries with different spices, fruits, waters, histories, hops, and we should take advantage of this in the middle. The success of Austria is how broad it can make its opportunities here. We're 2 English guys halfway up a mountain with one road in a valley nobody really has heard of, and I want to come to Linz or Graz, and I want to drink beer from a man that lives next to a huge lake with wide open fields, a different climate, using different ingredients, and to have this variety and this chance of choice. It's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, and this is the same. This is the same as wine. When you say, okay, every wine, every bottle of wine has its own story. You can put stories about wine. You have vineyards, hills, wine hills, everything, and say how does the people, the story of the wine garden and everything. But the beer is just okay. It's a brewery, and so many breweries were bought by a big concern, and they just look how to make cheap production costs, and this is the thing you have to the beer is the same thing as wine, and there was, I think 2 years ago, there was I was really sorry that I missed the exhibition. There was in Munich, in the museum. It was, I think it was especially in the Jewish Museum of Munich. It was called "Beer is the Wine of Our Country." And they have, especially with the main, they mainly talked about the Jewish breweries in the 19th century, But they said, okay, this is wine, our wine. Our beer is our wine, and so we have to look at this is not perfect. Now I see you nearly. Now der Zuseher sagt da, hallo. Der Qual, das sind die beiden, das sind die Brauer von Tux übrigens.
Hello.
You speak Auswärts? Yes, I speak a little bit Auswärts.
Aber beste mit Schnaps und
Very
Bier, oder?
English, Austrian English.
Ja, leider alles vergessen in der Früh. Das ist, ja.
Okay, but I don't speak rückwärts because and now I'm still in a and now perfect. Now I'm still in a mood I can control my tongue, not as 2 weeks ago. Too late, 2 hours later. Okay, but the very important thing is that people should say, okay, this is beer, very, and when you make beer in yeah. And I know also, especially in the wine, in the Weinviertel in Austria, in Lower Austria, I know brewers. I think we talked about the Brauküche 35, Brew Kitchen 35. They experiment a lot with beer in wine barrels, freshly cleared wine bottles, and they with white wine, red wine, with sour beers, with cherry sour beer in the wine bottles. And of course, yes, not vegan. Yes,
yeah.
it's a Magalitza milk stout. They have also cheer. Cool. And they have also the Magalitza milk stout. It's a milk stout beer, and they have the smoke aroma with a pig head, with a smoked pig head, Magalitza pig head, and it's really. It sounds really crazy. It's quite fun. But experiment. You have. And the people like it. They now last autumn they brewed the 4th batch, and so many people said no, you can't drink it. But you have to taste it, try anything. To do it like a wine. Do it like and when you have it, and then you find a market for that. And the problem is to find logistics, how you can sell it to other people, but it's the same like wine. A friend of mine, he in the 19th he was a member. He joined the wine academy, and he learned. He was on his learning time in California, in North of California, Napa Valley, and he said. The most of the wines there were sold in the valley. The rest was sold in California, and normally the most wines didn't leave California. They didn't leave America. They didn't leave California, and the people love it there, and you drink it regional.
It's the same with wine in Austria. If you go outside of Austria and try to find Austrian wine, it is really difficult.
Yeah.
Because Austria produces enough good wine just for itself.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same in the beer industry. I think the opportunity here is the market has changed. For example, in the last 2 weeks, restaurants that are closed across Tyrol are now delivering pizzas to your house, are now delivering hamburgers to your house. That would never happen before. So in
hotels.
Hotels.
Are doing a 2-course menu that you can order to collect and take home with you. It would have never happened.
In 3 weeks, so much has changed. Look at the way we're communicating now.
Yes.
And this will become normal.
Yeah, and I heard the same 2 hours ago. I was witness at the communication between PEP, okay, from a German parliament, a member of the German parliament politician, and they say, okay, it gets normal, and now the people are now not normal because one of your biggest fans, because I think our beer, Christopher, is so a big fan of your Norwegian beer, of the Norwegian IPA. I think when he finds Tux on the map, I think you will be empty because he will buy every every Paoli and Pele from you. He loves it. He's really cuckoo. Cata Florentina. Yes, he is really in fact. Who is Cata Florentina? One of your fans or one of your fans,
No,
Tim?
No idea.
Cata Florentina, who are you?
problem.
Okay. It's hard to get it. No, it's not so hard to get it. Also, Christopher, you know
Not
it.
anymore.
Okay. You will get it. Okay. Then I think we have to open our last beer. The
Porter.
the porter. Yes, the porter, please. Now it's a little bit not so cold.
Yeah, that's right.
Put it out of the.
Out of the fridge, yeah.
Please, wait. We have to make the beer selfie. That's pickle. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Last beer. Yes. Ja, Christopher, last beer.
Okay.
Wait, we have to make a really good triple selfie. Perfect.
Can you explain a bit about a porter, a traditional porter?
Yeah, so no one really knows where the name Porter came from.
Some people say from the port, from the people who
Yeah, they do say that, but it's kind of, yeah, did it really come from there or not? So, but originally it was kind of, it didn't have to be black. They were kind of brown, or it could be black as well.
Yes.
And they were lower alcohol. Ours is quite strong for an original type of porter. They were lower alcohol than these. Nowadays, people do them for 7, 8, 9% and things like that, and it's kind of a little bit too strong. And even this is pushing the limits really of porter. Guinness was kind of developed from porter. Guinness is extra stout, and that means extra stark. It means strong, so it's a stronger version of porter. We don't use roasted barley. We use roasted wheat. The reason for that is because roasted wheat hasn't got the husk on the outside, and you don't get those tannins and the very strong bitter flavors from them. And so this is more of a rounded, it hasn't got that really intense bitter flavor to it. And then we put vanilla in this, quite a lot of vanilla, about 50 vanilla pods from Madagascar, and chocolate, so organic chocolate nibs.
And organic chocolate, sort of raw chocolate, is not sweet. It's quite bitter.
Yes, I know. I love the organic chocolate. It's very bitter. I don't love chocolate, the normal chocolate, the typical industrial chocolate, but I love the so-called 99% chocolate. You just put a little bit on your tongue and it's perfect. And it's this is really good. This is a very good taste, very bitter. And okay, and this you have in this.
We
I
needed
taste it. I smell it. It's great.
We needed a beer that was at the end of the menu for the hotels we sell our beers to. And at the end of your dinner, you would normally have an espresso or a digestive.
Yes.
Also, you're having a sweet pudding, vanilla ice or Apfelkuchen. And the idea to have a beer that smells of coffee, but has this ability to blend with cream, with sand, and with ice. And when we do our brew tours, we give our guests a loaf with ice cream, a vanilla ice, and say, smell the beer, drink the beer and then take a taste of the ice cream. And it's so unusual.
Yeah.
And it works really, really well.
Yeah, and your product is from the quality very at a high level over some of the most porter I know. And it's a perfect designed Hello Porter. Christopher, do you drink the porter at the moment? Do you also taste it? But you have it on in the nose. You smell it. It's a really a perfect smell of fresh broken chocolate of the fresh coca bean. Coca bean?
Yeah, cocoa
Yeah,
bean.
coca bean, yeah. And when you have it, it's a fresh coca bean. It also has a very nice smell, that little bit sourness here. But a very, yeah, it's very perfect design.
But we
Is this your first beer you made?
it not really, no. It was a kind of a version of different types of dark beers that I'd made at that time.
Yeah.
But we wanted not to be so bitter as a Guinness, but still have a nice after dinner drink. And we've also found that it's funnily enough, it goes well with coconut. We had a coconut curry once in a curry restaurant in Innsbruck.
Yeah.
It's like you made this beer to go with coconut curry. It
Yeah.
just goes so well together. Coconut and the chocolate vanilla flavor, it just melds together beautifully.
Yes, well, I think it.
And we've also had one of the cooks in the hotel up here. He makes tiramisu, but he puts our beer in it, and so he makes beer-amisu. So instead of the coffee in there, he puts our chocolate beer, our porter.
Beer-amisu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's very special. Not the usual porter, because normally I prefer the stout to porter, because the most porter I know are too not interesting enough. It's like the same like wine. I say from the wine from Austria, the red wine. I prefer Blaufränkisch to Zweigelt, because Zweigelt is too a little bit too yes. Yes, of course. Our beer now, he writes fantastic porter.
Yeah,
It tastes like it should, yes, and it's really very good.
Thank you.
And the same thing is like the Zweigelt. The Zweigelt is a typical Austrian wine. It's very easy drinking, easy cheesy, and it's not interesting. There's only one I know from the south of Austria. They make Zweigelt in the Balkany areas, and it's very heavy, very good smell, and the same is with your porter. The porter, I normally don't drink porter, as I said, because it's too not so interesting. It's too watery a little bit, but this is very nice, really.
And this
So many flavors, so many. You in the nose you have coconut, the vanilla, the chocolate, yeah.
it's
The rose
5% alcohol. It's fairly strong, but it's not really extreme.
One of the things that I'm very aware of, I'm 50 years old. If I was 23, 24 years old making beer and I lived in a big stadt, I would make an IPA at 7.5%.
Yeah.
Smashes you in the mouth, in the nose with hop and smells. And it's interesting, it's different, it's unusual. But will I drink 3 or 4 glasses of it? No, I won't. It's too much to enjoy.
Yeah.
And actually, I think true enjoyment is feeling the flavors and respecting the drink or the food that you're having, but that you're not thinking too much all the time about it, that it's a natural thing. And you drink the beer in a natural way, that you enjoy the taste, but you're not having to fight against it. And we very consciously turned down some of the extreme hop notes that we could put in there just to bring it back so that you don't drink just one glass. You think, actually, it was so nice, I'll have another, and then another, and then another.
Yeah.
And whether that is, we understood our market here. It's 80% German tourists that come here for only 1 week. And if we get it wrong on the first schluck, that we've lost them for the whole week. They'll never come back. So we were more gentle in our approach to the flavors in there and this balance. Neil, however, wants to explore new things, and this is why the Norwegians come in, and it's fantastic, and we can do this. Small breweries are so agile.
Yeah.
We can sit here and decide tomorrow we don't do that again. We don't have a large supply chain. We're not reliant on infrastructure and resources from other people. We'll just say tomorrow we're doing something different.
Yeah.
And this is the wonderful thing about small breweries, which makes this future so exciting, I think.
Yeah, of course you can look what beer you can make, what beer do you like, you can experiment. Say, okay, you have your typical beer, you have your 5 beers, and the rest you have to experiment. What beer you can make, what beer, and the thing is, you don't have to reproduce your beer every year. You can say, here's a new beer, a kind. The other beers, you make different tastes of them. Yes, this is the thing. This the same like the other brewery from Schweich we talked about earlier. They also have some experimental beer.
And the guys at Biro are fantastic.
Yeah.
They have shaped and changed a new market. As you said, 90% of their Einheimishers drink Zipfer.
Yeah.
And to start a business where nobody drinks your beer or likes your beer style and be so successful as they are is fantastic.
Yeah.
I really think the way that they keep changing and they keep moving is wonderful. They have, I'm sure, concerns because so much of their beer was exported from Austria to our neighboring countries.
Yeah.
But in terms of being ambassadors for traditional beer styles in a new way, they can't be beaten. They're fantastic.
Yeah, they do it and they say, okay, and they have, they were the first who stopped their treaty with another beer shop who was overtaken by another big concern. I don't want to take names.
Yeah.
They were the first ones to say, okay, we don't want you to sell our beers. We want that people sell our beer we want, and not you say what to do. And we don't want to be a part of the game. We want to be individual. We want to be independent. And this is the thing. And this is the thing we have to hammer on the heads of the people, the consumers, the clients. Help the beers to be regional. The same thing what we get from America, from California, the people, the concern of south of California. I think in the 90s, I drank a lot of wine from Chile. Chile in English is the same Chile. You say Chile, okay?
Chile, yeah.
And they had very good beer. In the 90s, in the late 90s, they were bought by this concern from California. and the wine changed and was commercial. And I don't buy this Chilean wine because it's not good. And that people, they change it to make it commercial. And before it was interesting, and now it's commercial. The same thing is like the beer. The big concern buys a lot of breweries, and then they make the beer dull. And so this is an important thing. Small regional breweries, but we have to look how they can buy the beer Europe-wide, worldwide, Austrian-wide, that the people that you find your beer drinkers, your beer styles, that not you have to look how the market works and how you can change yourself to the market, but
but also what is so important for small breweries like ours is people like yourself, people like Robbie from Tribaun and Amundsen in Vienna, and the craft beer shops.
Yes.
Without these people with their lust for something new, then we don't have an opportunity going forward. And so it's a teamwork thing, really.
Yeah, of course.
We want to make great beer that you can enjoy and tell people about. And I've just seen Craft Beer Contour in Hanover has joined. And hello, Hanover. And without these specialist shops, these people with this passion, then there is nothing underneath.
Yes, of course.
And so we're so grateful for people like yourself, like Robbie, that come in and that love it, that get it with passion and excitement. And this is what this feedback for us. I'm excited to do things like this because otherwise it's Neil making the beer and it's another day in the office. But to hear how people enjoy things or don't enjoy them, and the feedback is it works both ways. If it's good, great, we've done well. But if it's not good, you're not enjoying it, we need to know this as well so that we can understand, because it's new for us too.
Yes, of course, because I think 2 years ago I learned to know first time a brewer from Upper Austria. They were a couple, they're just partners, and the one of the partners was just a conservative guy. He wants to make Pilsner. The other one, he was tattooed all over his body, and I saw he wanted to make more. And I talked to him, and we talked about Gose at this festival, and I saw, okay, he wants to make more, not in this region of the conservative part of Upper Austria. He wants to make more. And he said, okay, 10 of 10 people he showed the Gose don't hate the Gose, they don't want it. And I saw he wanted to make more, and I think 2 or 3 months later, he left his partner. He went to another brewery, big brewery, where they are a little bit conservative, but he wants to make more. And so this is a different thing. Don't look at the regional. Find possibilities to find your market, not in the region, but national or international, because there you have to find, like wine, good wine. When you make something you live for, you burn for, it's very important that they miss your beer. Crystography. Where's crystography?
He's in the cellar, drinking the beer.
Okay, crystography is in the cellar.
We didn't let him go. He was our #1 fan. We didn't let him go.
Okay. Okay. They're missing it. Okay, and but the most important thing is to yes, indeed, of course. Launcher, photography. The most important thing is what are the possibilities to bring the people to learn to know it. And this is advertising. Look, today we have not a lot of people. Now we have the possibilities for 24 hours that the people can read anything in the stories. But we have the possibilities to repeat that maybe on another the next time, maybe a little bit later, maybe we can start.
I would love to hear from some new breweries in another region in Austria.
Yeah.
Next week. Wien oder Oberösterreich.
Yeah. Yes. I just want to I repeat the talks. I want to find other breweries so I can talk together to learn about to talk about that just for breweries, but also we can repeat this maybe in 1 month or 2 months ago, a little bit later maybe. We can also find people in America and all over Europe, because I saw we had shortly some international guests. I don't want to make it too long. Now we have nearly 2 hours. I just planned in 1 hour. Because, yes,
Always happens.
Yes, always happens. Yes,
beer.
Yes. The tea guy between. Hi.
Hey! No, that's a fantastic story. And actually, talk about Chris. Actually, we're a small brewery. We're a small business, and if you make cakes, I come and ask you to make a birthday cake for me.
Yeah.
Or if you're a Metzger, I want you to make some meat for a family party for me.
Yeah.
And you do this because that's what a baker does. You go to a Tischler and you say, make me a door, and the Tischler makes a door for you. And it's no different with a brewer. If somebody comes to you and says, I want you to make a beer for a celebration,
yes,
then contact your small brewer.
Yes, it was the same as the Margaritza milk stout.
Absolutely.
Yes, small brewery with big beer, and you can also make a small brewery with pig beer. Yeah. Because the big butcher, he was a farmer. He has the pigs, and he also butchers the pigs, and he wanted them, please make a beer out of a pig. Make a pighead beer or something like that. It's really crazy, but the thing is, you have to be individual. This is the thing, the sense of life, the answer to everything. The answer to everything is beer, not 42.
Yeah.
It's beer.
Yeah.
It's beer. This is the answer, the real answer. Okay, in 1 minute, Instagram will close our chat again, I think, but now it's a good time to close our chat. But we will repeat it. I think in 1 or 2 months ago, we will talk about it. Now we will look for the people that they learn about your beer, to make some advertising for that. But I'm very happy that you were here today, and we will see us soon. And we hope that the Corona shit will. No.
No.
Yes. Yes. No, we want to get drunk here. Okay. Thanks, Lancia. It was very nice to meet you. Wait. Last beer selfie. And yes, thank you very much. Okay. We will see us soon. And it was very nice here to meet you. Okay.
It was great.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
I'd love to see you guys. Of course, we will have
Mr. Ice Tea.
The next season. Baby. This is just the pilot. The pilot of a big series. We will sell it to Amazon Prime or something like that. Okay. Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.